Yep, Wii U games. Star Fox Zero is an HD port of Star Fox 64. I'm just gonna explain it like that instead of criticizing it like that because I feel like I should be nice to the game at some point in the video. I'm gonna do the game a great service and just not even mention the story, characters, or dialogue because, frankly, they suck and I'd like to just spend review time on other things. And you know, it's Star Fox. It's a little ship you control in space and it's mostly on rails, as in you're forced to go forward. And then it's basically third-person Galaga when you're in ship mode, because you have these like really nonsensical formations of ships that you just like shoot them all, and then you roll and dodge a little. Sometimes you're in spaceship mode, sometimes you're in tank mode, sometimes you're in helicopter mode, and sometimes you're in chicken mode. All of which have completely different control schemes. So the graphics in this game, it runs in 1080p 60 FPS, which, you know me, I like. But if this is what your game has to look like to hit 1080p 60 FPS, then just fuck off. The game looks so old. Its graphics are straight out of the N64 with slightly better lighting and shadows and running in 1080p 60 FPS. The game looks awful. The enemies are just so simple. They're either giant blocks or spheres. Then the textures are horrible. The colors are nice. The jet trails on your ship are really vibrant and blue, and the lasers are green. And the sound is pretty good for the most part. But the environments are so simple, and the map sizes are so small. It's like if you go like even a little bit to the side, the game will flip you around and send you back. And that's the first big problem this game presents, is it is constantly doing things for you. Some of these bosses, if you crash into them, it turns you into chicken mode and you just have no control over it. And it just completely throws everything off. Because you know, there's two screens. On the gamepad, you have the first person cockpit view, and that's actually pretty cool. Playing the game in first person is pretty thrilling when you're zooming by stuff and you're shooting people. There's even a level that has a giant popcorn ball and you're dogfighting with the Star Wolf guys, and there are like trenches in it, like Star Wars, and you just go down in there, and then you do a somersault, and now you're behind them, and you're just like,
I have you now.
And the dogfights are pretty fun. The game is not without fun. And every once in a while, mid-mission, without stopping the game or action, it'll take the big screen, it'll focus it on the event. And during that time, your ship is still moving, enemy ships are still attacking you, and depending upon which mission, the timer for like, get this thing done before this happens, is still going. Which is bullshit! And pressing left trigger on the gamepad will like lock your camera onto something nearby, either an objective or an enemy. And it locks your big screen camera onto that. But the movement in the game is still relevant to the ship and not the camera. So if you're thinking, oh, it's like Dark Souls and I can move left and right and still be looking at the boss, no. And throughout this absurdly short for $60 game, oh, the game is replayable, so it doesn't matter if it's short. It's supposed to be played. There are a couple levels that are just like jump to 10 in terms of difficulty spikes. The missile level is bullshit. I played my ass off in that missile level, and I barely made it. There's like 4 missiles that you have to destroy each part of them. You have to do several passes through the missile to blow up all the pieces of them. And then it wants you to turn around and go protect the Great Fox while missiles are still heading for a portal. Again, using game time to focus the camera on a missile while it explodes. And amongst all that, enemies are attacking you, and it doesn't give you nearly enough time. Same thing with Andross. Andross, the final boss. For the most part, the bosses are kind of fun to fight, but Andross, first of all, that's like the 3rd time we've seen a giant head and hands in a Nintendo game. But there's this super just poorly paced part where you have to fly around the outside and dodge lasers, and then you have to fly on the inside of the thing. And Andross has like 3 just downright undodgeable attacks. He's got a thing where his head will like slam into you, and you can move out of the way, but that's like one of the few times his mouth is open to shoot him. So you can either do damage to him or not take damage yourself. And then when he's down to 1 hand, he'll like lightning you into his hand, and you have like 3 seconds to shoot the hell out of his hand, or he'll do damage to you, and you can't dodge that either. And something is super off about the checkpoints in this game, because it'll be like phase 1 complete, and you'll have a checkpoint. And then you'll play that for a couple minutes, and then you die, and you still go back to the start of the level, so what the hell is that? And then I noticed these little gold rings throughout the level. Wait, does this game use a life system? A life system in 2016 when you're not putting quarters into an arcade machine? You've got to be kidding me. This game from 2016, And by the way, I'm not going to review it like it came out in 1995, because this isn't 1995! Well, the old game was like that is the biggest bullshit excuse I've ever heard. There's a difference between old school throwback and cripplingly outdated. So you have to find these little gold rings, those are your lives. And then when you hit a checkpoint, you use your lives when you die. If you run out of lives, you have to start over, because fuck you, that's why. And the amount of lives you have only works as long as your game session lasts. If you decide after you hit the checkpoint to turn it off and go back, you gotta start all over. And then if you die too many times in a row, the game taunts you. It laughs at you, says, hey, sorry you're so shit at our just flawlessly designed game, so clearly you must need invincibility mode. And it puts this block in front of you that you have to go out of your way to dodge, or you're just invincible the whole level. No, that's not how you fix the problem! You balance difficulty with challenge and not unfairness! And then this game's controls are the most convoluted, nonsensical, impossible to pick up control scheme I've ever come across. So the controls are relative to which game mode you're in, because sometimes it's in like on rails game mode where it forces you to move forward and you can only go so far, you're in a narrow corridor, and then sometimes there's like three-dimensional free roam, and for some vehicles they stand still if you don't do anything, and some of them move forward if you don't do anything. So pushing forward on the left stick is sometimes forward and sometimes it's go up. So with the vehicles that move forward, that's okay, that makes sense. To have up, down, left, right on your left stick, and then to have like abilities and like speed boosts on the right stick, okay, that'd be alright. Holding back on the stick breaks you or floats you in the air if you're like the chicken and the little tank have like float modes, provided that you're always going forward and the left stick can steer you effectively. But that's not the case, because for some of the vehicles it's not ship controls, it's third person like person control, and the right stick is also the camera. So going left on the right stick will spin you left and right. The game is like a mashup of ship controls with like human being controls. And you can't have the camera share the right stick with like other stuff. So if you go down on the right stick, it doesn't aim you up or down, it boosts you into the air. It's an ability, and then you still move with the left stick. So if you want to bank or turn left or right, you have to hit exactly the center of the stick, or it'll cancel that out and use the abilities. It's bullshit. So half the time when you're just trying to turn or spin around so you can see what's behind you, it's using abilities on the thing. In addition to the two sticks and triggers, you have 4 face buttons, one of which is somersault, one of which is somersault but turn around and go the other way, one of which is switch into chicken mode, and then the other one is like center the motion control camera button thing. That button should be barrel rolls, what that button should be, because both somersaults have like a hotkey on the stick. So sometimes, if you're just trying to move quickly, you'll do a somersault without control. Why do you need a stick hotkey for a move that has its own button? You know, that's why there are buttons on a controller. So the game tells me, if you want to do this maneuver, that's what that button's for. Push that button so we know you want to do the maneuver, instead of randomly doing it while you're trying to move around. And of course, like up and down flight controls and like rotating, spinning movement are both inverted, and the only thing you can uninvert is the flight controls. Alright, this game doesn't even have an options menu. There are 3 option buttons that you can change on the screen of the Wii U. One of which is 3D voice, and I don't know what the hell that means. The other of which is invert flight, on and off, kind of an essential thing, and you know, a space game. If you're one of those freaks that likes inverted controls. People who like invert controls are like people who write with their left hands. Like, you just have no place in society. It's just unnatural. And the other one is for the motion controls. You'd think, oh, motion controls suck, so you should be able to turn them off, right? No. You can have them always on, or you can have them on when you're shooting. So if you just put them on when you're shooting, then you aim with the motion controls by tilting the pad, which actually, like, everybody complained that the problem, oh, you gotta look between the screens. I can aim with motion controls without looking at the gamepad, so then you can just look at the gamepad if you want a first-person view. I think in that respect, it uses the gamepad pretty well. I don't think that's the problem with the controls. The problem is freaking moving around. But that's it! Those are the only 3 options you have! There is no different stick button layout that you can mess with. You know, a game like Halo, where it like gives you like 100 different options, and you're like, the one you start with is fine. In a game like this, where it sucks, of course, there's only one option, and you're forced to play with the game's shitty controls. And so the button that recenters motion controls that I said you should have just barrel roll beyond that button, that's just... that does that on its own if you switch it to only motion controls while firing, which Aiming with motion controls doesn't work because it's for aiming, you know? You don't need to aim when you're not firing. You can't steer the ship with it. Because you're thinking, oh, I can go left and right, kind of like a phone game, and then the ship will go left and right. That's not how it works. It's only for aiming the gun. That's all motion controls is for. So why you'd have it always on is beyond me. Star Fox Zero controls like shit and is nearly impossible to play. The only time I'm actually having fun in the game is when I'm in free roam ship mode. And your attacks are spam the trigger for regular laser guns, hold down the trigger for like powered up laser guns that lock on, and then a bomb, and you can only use a couple bombs before you have to like find more. There's one little green power up, and I have no idea what it does. But like getting weapon variety and seeing like, oh, this kind of weapon would be good against shielded enemies, this kind of weapon would be good against armored enemies, this kind of weapon would be like a little missile burst where you can like catch a bunch of things, and if there's a missile on your tail, then you can like release flares. That kind of depth is like the fifth thing you worry about once your game actually controls properly. Think of how easily better this game could have been if Nintendo just didn't have their heads up their asses. And if I, a veteran, experienced gamer, an adult with like full mental capacity because I'm fully grown up now, can't figure this shit out, how is a kid supposed to do it? The only difference is the kid won't realize that something's wrong because he has faith in his game still. And he'll just think he's bad at the game. And you think Star Fox Zero would be a great party game, you know? Like, oh, what if there were 4 of us and it was just like this one place and we were all just like dogfighting around? That'd be fun, right? That'd be awesome. That's the kind of party games that Nintendo excels at, right? Nope. The only co-op mode is somebody flying the ship and someone else doing the gun. It's like, Nintendo, you didn't even try! And it's the little dogfight fun moments like that where you see potential, but it's not utilized on at all. It's a shame Star Fox Zero is the first Wii U game I'm reviewing, because it is not leaving a good first impression on my channel. Star Fox Zero is almost complete shit. The Landmaster tank comes equipped with a new function, Fox! Yeah, apparently it's an erection.